Well, hello out there, planet Earth, and happy Friday. Hope everyone's excited for Father's Day and to wish me a happy birthday on Monday. No pressure or anything. Yes, I started putting the age that I'm turning each year on the back of my softball jersey, 44 years young, or however I decide to delude myself. However, today it's Friday, not Monday, and it's always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. ICYMI, or in case you missed it, SMB stands for Small and Medium Sized Business. For the last 20 years, I have been a consultant for business leaders, a voice and a sounding board for their employees as well, educating where I can, advocating on their behalf. I believe very strongly, people, in sharing stories, providing perspective, and creating connection. That's what I'm all about. So every single Friday, you can find me here on talkradio.nyc doing just that, lending what's left of my mind and my voice to this radio show, where I interview business leaders as well as their trusted advisors, the folks who help them out. One of the things that I've noticed over the years, folks, some of the best thought leadership for SMBs, it happens on Friday, the day of the week named after me, when we feel the freedom of the weekend coming. However, we're also anxious to start the weekend. These crucial pearls of wisdom, they're often overlooked, they're forgotten in favor of our fun activities, our softball, and our freedom from work. Here on the show, we take advantage of that weekend freedom and clarity, and we like to discuss popular topics that are on the minds of business leaders. Once again, the name of the show, not just a play on words, my name, my last name, it means free in German. There is some deeper thought here, people. Yes, I'm in a softball mood, in case you haven't figured it out, not only because I'm excited to play this weekend. We had the parade for my daughter's softball league last night, and her team won the championship. So congratulations to the 12U Lady Tigers, as well as the 10U and 8U Lady Tigers. It was a Tigers sweep for the spring 2024 victories. Personally, I attribute the success of my daughter's team to the stellar team of dad coaches and the stellar dad bod that tries to fit into one of the jerseys that was accidentally ordered for one of the kids. I kid, but these girls, they're super talented. And we are just there for strategy, motivation, and obviously the occasional entertainment. Most of you who know me and who have listened to me rant and rave like a lunatic here, you know that I like to play softball and I talk about the league I'm a part of on a regular basis. That said, there are many fun sports analogies that can be made when you're talking about your personal and your business life. And it's a good thing that you can use softball and golf for many of them, because those are the sports that I spend the most time on. Not to say that I'm good, but those are the ones that I tend to really know the most about, especially during the summer. Considering that our championship win was this past couple of weeks, and my crew of dad coaches that I hung out with last night, congratulations again, Ricky and Frank. We all did a great job. Not to pat myself on the back, but the fact that this weekend is Father's Day and who my special guest is today, I figured it would be appropriate for us to speak about the next generation of leadership. This is a topic that comes up all over the place, right? So not to put any sort of guardrails around it, but next generation leaders, a lot of times they're the individuals within the organization these days who can be anywhere from 21 to 38 years of age. Now, they might not have a really extensive resume. They might not have formal leadership experience or things like that, but they demonstrate the qualities of a good leader, and they have leadership skills that align with your organizational values and goals. And the special guest who I have today, I know that he has been training for that from a young age, because the person who has been working with him most intensely is somebody who has had a lot of years in the industry that he works in, and it's also his father. So we're going to talk a little bit about that type of connection as well here, especially when you're talking about a family business. But talk is cheap. We're here on talkradio.nyc. We don't want this to just be talk. The goal here is let's use the insight that you get on the business landscape and create more impact on Monday morning. That's it. That's what we're about. It's far too often that the businesses I work with, I consult with, and even that my special guest consults with, they're focused on some type of product that's going to change their life, fix all of their problems, magic wand, they wave it, everything is cool, and they make money, and they're excited and happy and successful from there on out. Doesn't exist. Products change every single day in everything we do. You have to surround yourself with the right people first. That's what it's all about. Surround yourself with the right people, whether they're your employees, your advisors, strategic partners, whatever it is. Put a process together that's going to help everyone achieve their mutual goals. You do that, the right products will be there when you need them. Everything begins and ends with people. So in the spirit of surrounding yourself with the right people, I've been excited to have this conversation for a while. Great show for you today. Our special guest is my friend, Evan Rosenthall. He's Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships for Triton HR Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. I'm so, because the website's Triton HR, I'm so used to saying that, right? But if Evan's baby face looks like he's younger than me, that's because he is. He graduated from Drexel in 2019 with a degree in marketing and entrepreneurship. He very quickly went into the group insurance industry, not only because of his personal interest in the space, but because he had an interest in his father's, Steve's career. Steve Rosenthall is one of the most widely recognized leaders in the employee benefits and human resource industry. In 2008, Steve's vision and leadership launched his third successful human resources outsourcing company, Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. Triton has become a large success over the last 15 years with its unique approach to employee benefits and HR outsourcing. In 2007, Steve was named Human Resource Outsourcing Superstar for the third consecutive year by HRO Today. Before becoming CEO of Triton Benefits and HR Solutions, he was the CEO pioneer of Checkpoint HR, built on the concept of empowering an HR department with self-service tools. Triton is built on a very similar premise, but uses the latest technologies which enable companies and human resources departments to run more efficiently with an end-to-end solution. Steve has been a presence in the human capital management industry for longer than I've been in it, which feels difficult to say these days because I feel like I've been in it a very long time. And I've known him through one of my best family friends for a very long time. Probably close to when Evan was a toddler or in his little league or whatever. Not so much the softball league that we're in nowadays, but I got to know Evan on the softball field. We played on the same team a few years back, and these days, when we see each other at the field, we've been having some real fun shop talk along with his brother Corey, who's also playing in the league this year and is getting into the same industry that the family likes to work in. So this year, Evan stepped into a leadership role at Triton after acquiring over 100 new clients in a very short period of time. It has been great getting to know Evan over the years, and even more exciting to see him assume a leadership role at Triton, working alongside his father, who happens to be someone who I've looked up to in my industry a very long time. We're going to talk about my favorite questions around movies, TV, and music. Have no fear, people. Joining us today from Triton's headquarters in sunny Woodbridge, New Jersey, short trip up Route 9 from my studio this morning. Evan, welcome to the show, baby. At long last, you made it to my virtual world.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You were supposed to jump on with me last week, and we had an unexpected hiccup, which, as somebody who does live radio every week, that happens all the time. It will undoubtedly happen to you in your new leadership role. I'm a big believer. 10% is what happens to you, 90% is what you do with it. I know you were trained by the best. Steve's a local hero of mine, and you've had the privilege of hanging with him for a long time, but we want to hear about your journey. Let's talk a little bit about how you got where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I went to school at Drexel University down in Philadelphia, and what attracted me there was they have a co-op program. So you're able to work internships, co-ops while you're in school. So it's 4 quarters. It's not 2 semesters. And I was able to work a couple co-ops while I was in school as well. And I graduated and I had that experience on my resume. I never wanted to go into the family business. I always wanted to do something on my own. I had my last internship was at Penn Mutual Life Insurance, and I had some great people there. And that's kind of really when it's a big company. It got me acclimated to the big corporate culture. And I was like, hey, I want to go work for an Aetna, United. I want to go work on the carrier side. And at the very last minute, Steve said, hey, why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you come here? Why don't you try to work for us? And I said, okay. But I said, I want a path to something where I could do it on my own, something with leadership. And we came up with a plan where I was able to work through each department. I was able to start at the bottom with customer service, go to benefits, eventually go into sales, sold a couple hundred accounts, and just recently took over leadership. And I get to work pretty closely to Steve, who I call the Michael Jordan of group benefits.
And dad, and you're, in the off time. But, I've been listening and hanging on every word you said, but ever since you said Drexel and Philly, I can't get the picture of Reading Terminal Market out of my head. Maybe it's just because I haven't eaten anything yet today, but yeah, this is a fun conversation for me, Evan, because again, knowing Steve for a long time and looking up to him as somebody who's done a lot in the human capital management industry and done a lot with group benefits, it's very cool to have met you and play played ball with you over these last couple of years, but to see you assume this role as the next generation of leadership, and what kinds of massive monumental value someone like you could bring to the table with this. I hope you're as excited as I am, because I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. I can't tell you how many times we spent at the dinner table at restaurants. You just can't escape the business talk. It happens all the time. I feel like I just can never escape it, and that's kind of what's prepared me to get to this point.
And a lot of times I like to stay away from the business talk when we're at the softball field. Golf and softball are some of my biggest releases from work and from being a dad, which, Father's Day is this weekend too. But man, when we do it, it's kind of fun. We're talking about it. And it's funny when Corey asked me, how do you know this lingo from the industry? And I was just like, oh, it's because when you were born, I was first getting started in the industry. That's probably why. But it's so much fun to talk with you guys about this stuff. And the fact that there's so much interest, and I don't want to say indoctrination from the success of the family, but it's just kind of fun to see everything evolve the way that it has.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. Having Corey work at a large payroll company right now. We kind of have the market cornered in a way. We have some good partners out there as well.
I would say it also gets some great experience, because I remember my days working for publicly traded corporate America. It's, look, I always have these feelings nowadays when it's publicly traded, everybody becomes a number, and it's hard to really customize things with the best interest of the client at heart. But it's still like there's some people who are going to prefer these big, high intensity, high volume vendors. And that's something that always happens. But I love being part of the privately held world, so I can customize things around clients. I know to a certain degree, you and Steve like being part of the privately held world, so you can customize things around the clients. But we're going to have some fun talking about all of this stuff and more here today. We got to take a quick break, but we will be right back with Evan Rosenthall. He's the Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Triton. I'm going to do that probably 2 more times, just so you know. Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. Stay with us, people.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always FreyDay. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday. It's always Friday, and it's me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. Not just me. We are chatting with a friend of mine, Evan Rosenthall. He's Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Triton Benefits and HR Solutions, just so I don't get a Freudian slip going there again. Evan, before we kick off the show, I do like to sit out by my fire pit, as I call it, and give a quick perspective on some of the stuff we'll be talking about. I'll give you the birthday picture, even though there's no fire out there. But To think about this real quick, leadership lessons learned from softball. This is something that I keep in mind routinely, and not to say that I'm always good at it, but because I like to drink and party a little bit, especially when we have the softball crowds together. But there's a big lesson to be learned in personal and business life when you think to yourself, what am I going to do if the ball's hit to me? It's something that I was talking about with the girls I was coaching. It's something I think about to myself, when every single pitch. Luckily for me, with our league, I'm a lot of times playing catcher, so the ball's not very often hit to me. But the more that you can answer questions like those without feeling like it's a fire drill, the better off you'll be, right? And kind of like I said earlier on, even though the resume might be a little shorter, there might not be certain leadership experiences that are outlined being a C-level executive of a company. I love the fact that the newer next generation of folks who are assuming leadership positions, especially someone like you who's been around some really great role models for a very long time, you have a lot to gain from being around somebody like Steve, like getting answers to questions that he's been through time and time again, and even getting some perspective from me here and there. Like, I feel like at the ripe old age of almost 44, I can answer a lot of things without feeling like I have to ask this person or sound the alarm and bring in special people. But, just the position that you're in, the way that you went, through every position at the company, like from, customer service through sales and up to the leadership position is very important. And then having the help and the tutelage, if you will, of someone like Steve is just phenomenal. But don't forget to think before certain pitches that you throw out. What am I going to do if the ball's hit to me? The more you can answer that question, the better off you're going to end up being. So, Evan, as we talked about, this is the method part of the show. So what we'd like to talk about here is exactly what you guys are doing. And there's a lot of stuff that you guys have on the website. And so I want you to make it clear with everybody exactly what do you guys do, how do you do it, and how do you like to go to market for it? Let's go. Well, first things first, I do need you to come off mute.
I didn't realize I was muted with the commercial.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
We're a benefit broker, and we strive to offer that white glove service that a lot of some of the larger brokers or smaller brokers don't offer. We want to get into the benefit administration system. We want to make changes to it. We want to update the benefit module. So, and with doing that, we have a customer care center that's able to handle our employees' calls as well. And on top of having some pretty great people in our account management department that are able to handle our clients. So we found a nice little niche where we're able to do a little bit more. The bigger brokers aren't going to go into the payroll systems and make changes. We will. We don't have that liability like they do, and we're able to do that. We've also adapted as leadership, as HR directors, CFOs are going to start coming from different generations. We utilize some online tools. So we have an online benefit tool. You get an instant quote. You go in, you type in how many employees you have, you type in where you're located, and it pulls up all the carriers in the area. So the HR director, in the past, they wanted to go schedule a formal call. Now they want to lay in bed at 8 p.m. and after they put their kids to sleep, and they want to go on their phone and look at benefit options. So it's a totally different game. And we do the same on the payroll side too. We just launched a payroll tool where you're able to go in and you can put in how many employees you have, what you're looking for exactly, and it'll spit out a ballpark quote, and it'll actually recommend who we think's the best fit. So we've a lot of it comes down to adapting and making those types of changes.
So I like the way you just put that. So to be clear, Triton's not really processing payroll per se with their own engine. Like, they will have a lot of know-how and a lot of experience within the industry for that space, but you'll partner with various vendors to deliver the solution to the client.
Well, we partner with vendors. We have an implementation team that will go in and they'll actually help implement the payroll solutions. I mean, it's from dual maintenance to data validation. It's complete full service what we offer. It's completely different than what any other broker's doing.
So I love the way that you frame that, because as somebody who's worked in the human capital management industry for over 20 years at this point, payroll is something that in my travels very often will get commoditized, as will health benefits, right? You felt it already in the time that you spent in this space. And nothing drives me crazier than that, because this is very often a strategic discussion, but first and foremost, it's a people discussion. And people discussions to me are like, they should never be commoditized because people shouldn't be commoditized. So yes, a lot of times people are looking for, hey, can you help me save 10, 20% on my payroll processing? As I've said in previous shows, like I have conversations like that all the time. I care about my ideal clients are the ones that really care about their employees and want to deliver the best possible outcome to them and to the people who they're serving. And the kind of sentiments that you guys share with me, really being able to take some of that burden off of their shoulders so that their people can be freed up to do the things that they're really trying to do is a big thing to me. So bravo.
Yeah, 100%.
Payroll and compliance wise, again, these are things that kind of get glossed over and commoditized out there in the industry. It's like things that you need to do, but also you have to kind of want to do it the right way also. And that's something where, again, like some people, it's like, yeah, no matter what, they can do it themselves. They'll designate one person as a jack of all trades at the companies to wear all the hats. The type of solution that I've seen you guys provide, it's so much more handholding and so much more comprehensive, and it's looking at things like a partner instead of a vendor. And again, like those are sentiments that I talk about every day. And you guys being able to communicate that across to these days, that's big to me. So in your new role as a leader of this company, I hope you really take that to heart, because I love those types of sentiments, and I feel like they get glossed over in our industry a great deal.
Yeah, we want to take that consultant role, and we want to be that trusted advisor, and we want them to come to us. If they're looking for another payroll solution, if they're looking for HR, we want to kind of be that quarterback where they can come to us, and we can then figure out what's the best solution. We want to be that trusted advisor to them and guide them. We don't want, it happens all the time, as you alluded to, where people come in, they'll want to buy on price. And that's always going to happen, but we want people to see the value that we bring, from the implementation to the service that we have, to the COBRA administration, to the account managers. And in our compensation model, we try to keep everybody close, kind of like a family business. We want our sales reps, account managers tied to the account. We want them touching the client multiple times, not just showing up at renewal. That's probably one of the biggest things that we see is a broker that just shows up once a year at renewal. Absolutely. And we try to do the complete opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, it's indicative of a lot of folks who've been in the industry for a long time, is they get the plan in place and they're almost afraid to show up until, talk about renewal or whatever, because they don't want to upset the apple cart and they don't want to mess up residual income. And I've always kind of had like a counter culture type of opinion of that. It's like, should be touching the client anywhere from 1 to 4 times a year, depending on what their comfort level is with it, or even more frequently if they really want you to, especially if you're in the consultative capacity. Let's take that another step further, right? Because, if we look at the softball jerseys that we like to rock this year, I sponsored a team this year, even though it's not the one that I'm on. I love having an engaged PEO type of, type of jersey, and you have the Triton jerseys this year, but you guys also, Logan the engineer says, I don't want to be touched. Thanks. I like my personal space, but he's got some dynamite drop-ins. But the professional employer organization space, the one that I work in full time. So something that comes up in your world too, that you guys get asked about from clients, and it's been a part of Steve's world for a long time. It's been a part of your travels thus far. There's plenty of benefits working in the PEO space. So, and this kind of leads in a little bit to the madness for me anyway, is, you guys are at that point where you've developed an awesome consulting model, and along the way, you've embedded yourselves well with certain providers to really make sure that you have somebody at the ready to go to and kind of really help along with certain things. But, nowadays, even to the point where you guys have a PEO, you have 7-star HR as a PEO. That's part of the family of companies, so to speak. But it's also you recognize that you can't be pushing a particular product at one point down people's throats. They need to be able to have an RFP process, almost like a good fiduciary practice, where they look at a couple of different options and you could really make the right recommendation for them. It sounds a little crazy, but to me, that's the way to do it. It always has been.
Yeah, it wasn't always like this. And you probably know best. A couple of years ago, even when I was just getting into industry, it was like PEO versus, employee benefits. It was completely, it was like, we got to pull them off a PEO. They can't go that route. And we've kind of, a lot of the PEOs out there have embraced the broker community and realized, hey, we got to work with these guys. they're the ones that have the closest relationship to their clients. We need to embrace that. And they pay a very competitive rev share. And it's sometimes more lucrative for us because it doesn't clog up our team. We're able to give it to ADP and or whoever the payroll company might be. And whether they hold on to the business for a little bit or they give it back, however it works out, we just it could be a good fit.
Or engage PEO, and thank you for your referral this week. I do appreciate that.
Or engage. That was what I meant to say.
I do appreciate that, but no, it's one thing, Evan, that became very clear to me in especially in the last decade of doing business is where I was growing up and I was being trained, a lot of it being product knowledge and putting the gun together and taking it apart. As the more I would say the older I get, but the more vintage I get, I like to delude myself even further. But the more vintage I get, there's a lot of people. The circle gets smaller and smaller as time goes on, who like to play in this space. There's a lot to be said from the idea of cooperation, which I don't know if I picked up that word somewhere or I made it up myself. I don't know if I made it up myself. I want to trademark it, but cooperation. There's so much more to be kind of made from that mentality and that kind of headspace, because there's a lot of people who might be perceived as competition, and there's a lot of times there's ways that everybody works together. But it's the idea of strategic partnership is big nowadays, and I know that's something that you've been embracing personally, and you've rolled out a number of programs within the company with CPAs and with other shops and all of that to to really bring the best possible solution to the table, and that's very big for me. Even when you're a solo assassin, mercenary, practitioner, producer as an insurance folk, right? You need to have the right team of people behind you, and you guys have a great team of folks at the company. But also the strategic partnerships can be very exponentially powerful.
It's great. It's always great to have options. You just don't want too many where that circle's too big and you can't feed it. You want to be a really, really good partner to a couple other really good partners that are good partners back. So you want to keep that circle tight and monitor it, see how the how we're working together and always evaluate it. That's kind of what I've been able to do these last couple of months.
I couldn't agree more. I've dealt with a lot of trusted advisors in the past who have blanketed their clients with 20 different proposals for things that they're looking at. Is when I look at the human capital management space and the way I'm situated and the way even folks like you are situated, it's like, I have, let's call it 3 options. I don't like more than 3 to 5 bullet points because I'm an adult ADHD guy and it just drives me crazy. But, here's a publicly traded vendor. Here's a newer to the street vendor with the crazy upbeat technology. And here's one that's kind of middle of the road, privately held, very flexible, not publicly traded, can custom design a solution. And it's more of kind of the process of selection there to me.
Yeah, it's going through and evaluating, see what's the right fit. Having a good arsenal of partners that you can give something to and trust that they're going to do a good job. The last thing you want to do is refer somebody in and have them ruin it for us. So we want to keep that tight. We want to trust the vendors that we're working with. So we've been pretty good at it with a couple vendors out there.
There's a lot of costs and analytics behind the world of group health insurance, and we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back with this kind of line of discussion. But every business owner, Evan, I've ever dealt with, they love the idea of saving time and money. What I like about the way I'm situated these days and the way that you're situated is we all together can all be part of the growth strategy for these businesses. And when you take it back to looking at the costs, like when I see testimonials like this, it speaks volumes. Like, Triton looked at our stuff and they were able to help us save $80,000 on what we were doing and provide better service all at the same time. Those are powerful stories. And then when you can translate that into helping the company grow and expand moving forward, it becomes even better. We got to take this break. We'll be right back with Director of Sales at Strategic Partnerships, Evan Rosenthall. He's with Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, And each week, top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always FreyDay. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Evan Rosenthall. He's Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. You know, I'm talking a lot here on the show, Evan, and it's because it's a topic that's so near and dear to my heart, and I feel like we're in the dugout just kind of jabbering like we normally would, but I'm going to try to shut the hell up in this segment and let you talk about the madness of the industry, because I've seen a lot of it. I know you've seen a lot of it in the short period of time that you've been playing in the space. But, you know, the madness part of the show here, Evan, this is the artistic observational part, the stories that we have from the field, no subject to taboo, anything goes. And again, I started to allude to some fun madness before where, you know, Steve's family of companies, you guys own a PEO, 7-Star HR, that was started out of Texas. And yeah, you guys recognize, especially nowadays, that you can't just be completely product driven, showing one particular solution and throwing it in front of people. You have to be able to go through an RFP process, good fiduciary practices, tell them the why and where and all of that of, you know, behind where you're going to recommend that folks go to. So that's one thought. The other thought is that people in finance and insurance a lot of times don't understand finance and insurance, which is a scary thing for me to see. You know, so when you talk about the standard brokers that come to people's minds where they put something in place for the client and then they kind of disappear and you never hear from them again, like until the renewal times, it kind of just makes me sad a little bit, because not only is it, you know, it means you're not really doing the client justice, there are also other opportunities for revenue generation, money savings, streamlining of other services, and in general, fun type of growth discussion that you could have if you stay in touch with them. But enough about my crap. Let's let Evan talk to us a little bit about the madness that you've seen in the field and everything from, you know, customer service and analytics of benefits and sales to being in a leadership role these days. Let's hear it, baby.
So I feel like that a lot of the stories probably come from being out in the field as a seller and doing open enrollments. So I'm gonna, one of the most recent ones that happened was we were conducting an open enrollment. It was in Kearney, New Jersey, at a company that they do laundry, and they pick up the laundry for hotels and they bring it into their facility. It's a couple football fields wide, long, and they do the laundry and they send it back to the hotel. So new client, we're doing their open enrollment. And I decided that, you know, as a sales rep, I wanted to go there with a benefit rep. I wanted to do the open enrollment together. So it was a big company. And next thing you know, we come in with like 30, 40 boxes of pizza. We're going through the open enrollment. You have some English speakers, some Spanish speakers, and we didn't really get through. There was a couple sessions that we didn't really get through what we had to in the morning session, the afternoon session. So they asked for a night session to come back. It's a 24/7 operation. Sure. So we came back at 7 p.m. We're there like 7 to 10 p.m. But rewinding for a little bit, as the pizzas got delivered, and in the midst of that, the HR director was like, "Hey, do you guys have like another Spanish speaker that could help sign up the employees? You know, we just have you." And we were using like an HR admin that happened to speak Spanish. So we have like two of us that are kind of doing it, but I'm really helping the admin do it. So this DoorDasher comes in and he drops off the pizzas, and
Yes.
he was speaking Spanish, and I just thinking quick and just being on the fly, I said, "What are the chances, that you speak Spanish like fluently?" And he did, and I said, "What are you doing later?" And he goes, "Just working DoorDash." I said, "What do you make over the course of like 3-4 hours? Tell me what he makes." I said, I'll give him a little bit more than what he makes. I said, I'll give you this, figure tips as well. I need you to come back here. I'm going to teach you a benefit administration tool, Employee Navigator. I go, I'm going to teach it to you.
Unbelievable.
And I need you to sit next to me, and I'll help you, but I need you to be a third person to help me enroll some of these Spanish speakers and go through the benefits. That's important. You want people to understand what they're buying, especially with the Spanish speakers. Sometimes they don't understand. It's a barrier, and they don't understand fully what they're buying. So to have two bodies there, in addition to myself, I had two of them on each side of me, and we're going through it. I'm enrolling people, they're enrolling people, and it was really successful. We got everyone enrolled that night that we had to. I stayed there a little bit later, and I'm still friends with the guy, friendly with the guy who did that. So maybe future open enrollments we bring him back. But that was that was a time that was within the last couple months where we were pretty resourceful and had to get the job done. And it's just do it, just get it done. And we did it.
I would agree. That's a fantastic story. I wasn't expecting that, believe it or not. And I'm happy to hear that you said, you know what, like come back a little later, because that means everybody else still got their pizza and they didn't get cold sitting on the side of where you just pulled them straight in to help with Employee Navigator. So that's huge. Dude, that is totally resourceful, and definitely applaud you for it. That's listen, man, like being a leader is, and this is something that comes up with the Talk Radio NYC station a lot, is uplift, educate, and empower. That's something that, dude, like that's a huge leadership lesson that takes people who are in leadership and management, which I always have a big kind of difference between the two, but that's something that people more vintage than you are still struggling to learn. So, think of how cool that guy must have felt when he's like, yeah, you can actually help me do this benefit enrollment meeting. Come on in and help these people get their health benefits. He's like, I could do that.
Yeah, he got a great dinner out of it. I brought pizza back for the evening shift, and I said, whatever you want, I'll get you. We got him. It was a good setup. I almost wanted to bring him in for our client service team here, but for other reasons, he couldn't.
It's funny. It's like I was looking around that I've done shows about this type of stuff, even in the last couple of months. What do people look at in a next generation leader? Since we're kind of dancing around that topic today, and one of the things on the list that I had looked at was offer an emerging leaders program, which I always think something like that and a mentorship thing is good no matter what. But that almost brings it to a whole other level. It's like, hey, this dude delivers pizza. It's like he's an emerging leader. Why the hell not?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's just one example. Like we have other ones such as whether it's chasing a deal. We were working with a large group that we were trying to bring on as a client. It was an eye center down in Tampa, Florida. We realized that the other broker was local, and we tried to schedule time with the group. She wouldn't, and I took a different approach where I said, hey, we're actually going to be in the area tomorrow. Are you around for lunch? We weren't in the area. We were in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And she took our meeting. I hopped on a flight. We went with a partner of ours, and we covered his costs because I didn't think his company would. Flew him down, us two. We went down for maybe like 18 hours. We we had lunch with her and explained to her what we did. And next thing you know, she thought that we were just passing by the area. And we actually went out of our way to go down there to just chase a deal. And so whatever it is, whether it's on the prospect side, client side, it's just thinking outside the box, doing stuff different that other people aren't, and trying to get more clients that way.
So working in my roles that were publicly traded corporate America, like I've definitely done the I'm going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow, but it was more like I was at an office at 32nd and Broadway, and they were like downtown. That's a cool position to be able to execute on that quickly. And I'm sure you got plenty of folks down there. I know Steve's got a place in Florida as well. But if you ever need something to kind of piggyback a trip like that, let me know. I got all kinds of friends everywhere, so I could always introduce you to some of my crazy people.
Absolutely, it's the PEO capital of the world. So lots of business down there.
Yep. Lots and lots of business down there. So, going back to that, right? Like, so the PEO world, like you had said, then that's something, a piece of madness that I've come across as well. Like, where some of the traditional thinking about it is that, again, it's competition to people who work in the health producer, health insurance broker type of community. And that's where a lot of my referrals come from. So I know that's not the case, right? It's just being able to position the conversation the right way and to leverage each other's strengths. Like, know what each other's, shortfalls. I don't like to call them weaknesses, but the other things that are not necessarily a strength in the industry. Like, but being able to leverage everyone's best parts as strategic partners and in a united front is always huge to me. Like, it seems like you guys agree at this point, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it together for sure.
Yeah, you have a lot of people out there where they're not thinking about the right fit. They're thinking, who took him out to a happy hour, who took him to a Rangers playoff game, who took him to a suite, and it really, that's great. All that stuff's awesome, but it really should come down to what's the right fit. What are they looking for when it comes to HR, when it comes to onboarding, when it comes to recruiting? What are their needs, and addressing those needs and finding the right fit. You're going to keep them happier, and you're going to keep them as a client for a lot longer.
One of the other things about becoming a next generation leader, Evan, that I saw was establishing collaborative leadership circles. And that's also, again, not just the strategic partnership discussion, which is, also a big part of the execution, but being able to, as you have been within the organization, someone who's worked in all the different parts of the organization, now you're taking on more of a leadership role. Maybe together with the emerging leadership idea and the collaborative leadership circles, there's opportunities to really work with some of the folks even younger than you, if there are any in the organization, that can get working with you and really like be noted as an emerging collaborative leader, both inside the company and out. Those are like fun discussions to me.
Yeah, I do some work with Drexel, my old school, and
Great.
They have the leadership program, and so I try to mentor some of the younger kids there and do some virtual classes. Not a professor, but I'll hop on and help a couple of my old professors, and try to a lot of these kids are coming out of school and they have some great ideas, and they just kind of want to bounce some ideas off other people, see some get some input on their ideas.
I've done more work as of late with more local schools in the Jersey side, but both my wife and I and a whole bunch of my cousins went to the University of Maryland. And I don't know if you and I had ever talked about this, but in a similar fashion to you, with the way you started doing some work at Drexel, one of my first job was through the Maryland Small Business Incubation Program. You make a proposal to the university, they accept it, you get university office space, resources, phone lines, copy machines, all of that jazz. And I was part of a company that had 8 people and was built up to 35 by the time I left. And that type of experience was one of the marinating, kind of core memories from inside out, if you will, of how to really get into this industry and to be somebody who can make a difference and who can see the difference almost imminently with the entrepreneurs and the small, medium-sized businesses.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the greatest things about Drexel and their entrepreneurship program was you're able to work with a real company, and similar to how you just described, they'll pair 4 to 6 of us to a company. There'll be a real problem, and we actually have to work and address the problem, and then present it to the CFO, HR director, owner. And whether they take that's another issue, but it was just really, really cool to be able to get real life experience. And that's my encouragement to all the younger folks out there. It's that real world experience is so valuable.
Yeah, sometimes there's no substitute for that. We got to take a break. Well, it's great stuff, Evan. We'll be right back with Evan Rosenthall. He's the Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. Stay with us, people.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with my man, Evan Rosenthall. He is the Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Triton Benefits and HR Solutions. Evan, love the conversation. I feel like I need to have you on again, like many other folks I talk to, because we're almost out of time. And yes, you should probably consider doing your own show. You have a great presence and a great deep voice like me. So, but we could talk about making one of the offices at the Triton office in Woodbridge a podcast studio. We could really knock it out together. But enough of that. This is the message part of the show, Evan. This is from Weekend Insight to Monday Impact. That was the idea when I started the show. That's the idea that we like to kind of embody here when we have these discussions, giving everybody some type of little soundbite over the weekend that they can really remember and put into action come Monday. And just to throw a few things out there, putting together benefits and delivering that experience to the staff is a C-level decision. It's a company-wide decision. It can be a very strategic decision. And a lot of times, like we've discussed along the way, it's something that can get commoditized and just like look at, oh, this is a couple of dollars cheaper, fine, do it and throw it in a drawer until next year. You really want to involve the senior folks at the company and make sure that they're able to relay messages effectively to the folks who work for them and be able to administer things really effectively. And if you don't have the wherewithal to do that within your organization, don't worry, you're not alone. There's a lot of folks out there who help with that, including Evan and the team at Triton HR with their strategic partnerships, including me, Stephen Fry from Engage PEO. There you go. But enough of me jabbering on again. Evan, drop some sound bites on everybody for the weekend so that we can really get them to remember something after they have their softball and golf like I intend to do.
Yeah. So I one of the things I learned from Steve, our CEO, and that carried on from my grandfather was the customer is always right. It doesn't matter the situation. The customer is always right. And we strive here also, treat all clients the same, regardless of size. We have a service model that we plug in, and you want to treat them all the same. You don't want to service certain ones different ways and the other ones other ways. You want to streamline it all in one way and be able to treat everyone the same. So that's probably the most important thing that I've learned is the customer is the most important part of the business, and you want to keep them happy and keep that service level.
I would also, take it a step further from the janitor to the CEO type of discussion. Everybody should be treated with respect. We're all people, right? And that's something that I've seen a lot of over the years where it's like, oh, this person's in one position, they get treated differently. And no, like different size companies, the same with my type of business model. It's if the company has hundreds of employees or if they have 5 employees. They get the same service model that we intend to deliver to everybody.
Yeah. A lot of times we don't see that. I mean, you see some brokers out there that might neglect the smaller groups. We'll write startups down to 2 employees, and we'll go all the way up to some of the largest hotel chains in the world. So there's no everyone gets the same service that we offer.
And that's something that I notice a lot too, is that Yeah, again, treating people with a different type of service model, like the companies that have 5 employees that are newer to the party, they become the companies that have 200 employees. Being part of the growth strategy, again, everyone wants to save time and money, man. Like, I'm in a position, you're in a position these days where not only could you help them save time and money and ease the pain of administration, but you can be part of the growth discussion too. It's like, I love the companies that start out in very entrepreneurial ventures with 2, 5, 10 employees. Sometimes it's enough to drive you crazy, but then they become the ones with 200, 300 employees, and you're part of the growth story.
Yeah, one of my newest sales reps, he was in the electronic recycling business before, and he just had a company come in that was doing something similar to what he did with electronics, but with farming waste. And
Yeah.
for him, he was geeking out over it. He thought it was the coolest thing. So it's being able to have a passion. In this case, it worked out really well. He was able to relate to this group and the owner and talk his language. But it's just being able to help out our groups and like I go back to the beginning, be that advisor to them.
The headquarters of Triton is in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I know you guys have presence all over the country, but I'm a Central Jersey guy. You're a Central Jersey guy. Steve's a Central Jersey guy. I know you spent some time around the urban areas, and I'm jealous these days because I have the house and the kids and the lawn to take care of and everything. But if people are what we've talked about today, like you being in a leadership position with Triton, helping your clients through with any and all things human capital management oriented, and especially being a good resource and a quarterback, if you will, on the benefit side. Where can they find you? How can they reach out to you? Give everybody some contact information, and then we're going to bring things home, baby.
Yeah, so Triton, you could look up Triton Benefits. A lot of times, we have a killer marketing team, so if you look up Group Benefit Broker, we're usually the first one up there, sponsored and organically. You can reach us direct at our phone number, 732-602-2410, and we're a full service broker. We work all throughout the country. If it's a large enough group or a group that needs that service, even if it's not that large, we'll go out there and do the open enrollment in person. If there's issues with the current, we'll fly out there. We'll help them. We'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, he's in the neighborhood. Don't worry, people. He's always in the neighborhood. I love it, Evan. Before we let you go for the day, we are going to revisit the answers to my questions that I love to ask everybody who I've ever interviewed. Who's your favorite movie or TV show character? What's your favorite movie or TV show? What's your favorite musical instrument? And who's the artist you'd like to hear play it? And I loved all of your answers. So without further ado, your favorite movie character is Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. It's, when I think about folks who give me answers, Evan, and I think about sometimes how closely related it can be to what they do and how they do it and all that fun, I want you to just listen to this little excerpt from IMDb on Ricky Bobby. #1 NASCAR driver Ricky Bobby stays atop the heap thanks to a pact with his best friend and teammate, but when a French Formula One driver makes his way up the ladder, his talent and devotion are put to the test. You know what? You're up the ladder at this point, and you're in a leadership position. So your talent, devotion, how you react to things, or respond to things, if you will. I like respond better than react. Yeah, they're going to be put to the test, baby. Things are unexpected. They happen.
If you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
Exactly. So time to win some deals together, baby. So you said your favorite movie is American Sniper. And I like the idea of the sniper approach compared to the shotgun approach, especially in our industry. It's a little bit more targeted, right? But Chris Kyle, Navy SEAL, right? His pinpoint accuracy, it saves countless lives on the battlefield and turns him into a legend. Back home with his family after 4 tours of duty, he finds that it's the war he can't leave behind, right? It's kind of like you and me, not able to leave the HCM industry behind, and we're talking about it on the field, but we're having fun with it, so it's fine these days, right? So always. American Sniper, that idea, I love it. So I haven't seen the movie yet. Talk to me. What spoke to you about it?
The precision involved with it. It's I relate everything to what I do. Just the precision. It's hard to explain, but the precision's the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, because and to me, very often that's getting to know the people as opposed to memorizing a product list and rifling it out there, because to me, when people do that, it's a shotgun effect and you just see what falls and latch onto it. When you get to know the people, you build rapport, you collect some information, and then you fire a shot right between the eyes. Yes, that's the sniper rifle effect. So you said your favorite musical instrument and the artist you'd like to hear play it was the trumpet and Timmy Trumpet, who I associate and you associate with the Mets. I didn't realize he was an Australian dude. I'm like sitting and reading about him and everything. But yeah, Timmy attended a Mets game and met Edwin Diaz, relief pitcher, telling him that he was officially a Mets fan for life. And during a game the following day, Timmy performed the intro song at Citi Field when Diaz entered. So pretty awesome. Love the answer. Love the fact that you gave some great stories from Drexel. And again, I'm starving, so it made me think of Reading Terminal Market. Evan, I'm so happy that we were able to finally do this. It won't be the last time. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Steve. I appreciate it. And I promise you I'll get a new picture. I'll get a new LinkedIn picture before the next one.
No, I don't. People have promised me a lot of that. I don't believe you until I see it. But coming up next week, we're going to interview my new friend Lawrence Anthony. He's a business coach, and don't worry, even though he has 2 first names, you can trust him. Very trustworthy guy. And he actually asked a bunch of his compadres some questions about movies, TV, and music too. So I'm extra interested in him. Until then, thank you for joining us on Always Friday. We hope you gained some weekend insight to make a Monday impact. Have a great weekend. A happy Father's Day. Don't forget to wish me a happy birthday on Monday if you see me or out there in the virtual world or the real world. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, Friday, 11 a.m. here on talkradio.nyc. Bye-bye, everybody.